Hello, good morning, or good afternoon, good evening, good night, I guess, in some of the places people are watching this. Welcome to the second session of our introduction to mindfulness, the kind of short 15-minute sections. We've got quite a lot to do today, so I'm going to get kind of stuck in immediately. Do all the things you usually do when you go into these webinars, which is take your phone, turn it off. If you can take the battery out, even better. Get a pad and a pen as well, because there's quite a lot of stuff we're going to have to write today. I'm going to basically give you a practice as well, which is almost impossible to lead. So I might try and lead it just for the sake of showing it to you. But more importantly, I'll explain how to do it. I'll give you the notes on how to do it, and I'll show you how you can do it yourself. And I'll explain why it's almost impossible to lead as well. But look, let's get stuck in immediately with what we're doing today. I'm going to take you through the 7 tenets of mindfulness. The reason for this is that there are the 7 principles of mindfulness which were illustrated by Jon Kabat-Zinn, who's the guy who you hopefully Googled after last week's session. If you didn't see last week's session, you can get it online, and we'll send you a link for that after this broadcast today. So let's just get stuck straight into that. Of mindfulness. Now, the tenet is like a founding column of mindfulness. These aspects are something that they're very useful for when you meditate, but they're also very useful for life. And I'm going to try and explain each one in turn so we have a good understanding of what they mean. And I would like you to write these down, so get your pads out. The first thing to write down is non-judgment. Non-judgment. And we go through our lives every day, even maybe minute by minute, making judgments about things, calling things based on experience or opinions or views. And so what mindfulness tries to do is to sort of you're not making an attempt to stop your judgments, you're just simply making an attempt to recognize that you are judging something. So that's the aspect of non-judgment, if you like, okay? Ultimately, you'll find that you judge things less, you simply let things be, and you'll find that taking a view sometimes isn't as helpful as it used to be. But anyway, non-judgment, simply recognizing the thing that you do when you judge. The next thing is patience. And I think this is very clearly illustrated by the child who tries to help the caterpillar out of the chrysalis. Literally speaking, the caterpillar needs the time. It needs the time, its own time, to come out of the chrysalis. And trying to help it come out more quickly is not advantageous for the caterpillar. So patience, and we know this as adults, that things have their time. Things have their time to be and their time to be expressed. And so patience is a very useful aspect of mindfulness, and it's certainly something that we can indeed bring more to our lives. Myself, historically, I'm a very impatient person, so for me it was a good lesson to learn how to become patient. The next thing is the beginner's mind, and this is perhaps most clearly illustrated as a sort of child's eye view, or perhaps if you were a Martian, if you're an alien, you just landed on Earth, seeing something for the first time. One of the best ways to do this is to eat a substance that you've eaten before, preferably something natural, something organic like an apple or a raisin, and eat it as though you're not even sure that it can be eaten. Eat it as though you're exploring it as an object first, and you're learning that it can be ingested, and then going through all the processes in sort of microscopic detail, looking at everything for the first time, really smelling it, really tasting it, really feeling its weight, really looking at its contours, looking at something with the beginner's mind. The next thing is trust, and trust is an enormous area, but I'm going to try and give you 2 or maybe 3 definitions of trust. One is to trust that the moment will unfold, to trust that things will happen, que sera, sera, whatever will be, and to trust in yourself, to trust in your own intuitive self, to trust your own gut feeling. And very specifically as well, I want to define trust in terms of your daily practice. One of the reasons daily practice has such great efficacy is because if you practice often, you begin to trust your ability to practice on a given day, on an average day. And the reason that's useful is because just as in yoga, when you wake up with a different body every morning, in mindfulness you also wake up with a different head every morning. And so trust in your ability to practice on an average day helps you understand where you are on a particular day. So if you found your practice quite tricky, quite difficult, then for example, well, there's something that's bothering me today. Maybe I know what that thing is, maybe I don't know what that thing is, but clearly there's something on my mind. And so trust in your ability to practice with the daily practice, that's something that's very useful. Okay. The next one is non-striving. Non-striving. Now, you remember from the first webinar, I said that the challenge is easier to do the less hard you try to do it. The only way I was comfortable using the word challenge in that sentence was by saying it was easier to do the less hard you try to do it. Very much like non-striving, not trying, not striving and striving to do this, but actually relaxing into this a little bit. So that's probably a best way to describe it, non-striving. Also, letting go, in fact, the next word also is perhaps somewhat illustrative of non-striving. Letting go I'm going to illustrate by how they capture monkeys. You build a box and you wire a box to the tree and you drill a hole in the box that's just large enough for the monkey to reach into. But once they grab the banana inside, because you put the bait inside the box, you put the banana inside the box, once they grab the banana, they cannot then withdraw their fist. And so that's how you capture a monkey. Apparently a lot of monkeys don't work that out, that they need to let go. So letting go can be a very good thing. Letting go of perhaps things that we don't need, maybe. That's a good illustration for the human side of that. And lastly, awareness and attention. Now I'm going to kind of bundle this up with a bit of acceptance as well. But awareness and attention, essentially bringing your awareness and bringing your attention to something. The thing about awareness and attention is they are by their very nature non-judgmental. They are patient. They are a beginner's mind. They are trust. They are non-striving. They are letting go. There is a sort of world of acceptance in awareness and attention, if you like, or just certainly a focus which doesn't have any judgment, doesn't bring anything else to the table. It's simply awareness. It is simply attention. So I wanted to hope that those make sense in that sense, and I hope you've had a chance down. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and really quickly give you a practice that will be easy to squeeze into even the busiest of days. I'm going to need you to write this down first, okay? So would you write down for me the 4-stage pause, okay? So just write that down in your pads, the 4-stage pause or 4-stage pause, all right? So I'm now going to explain how to do the 4-stage pause. What you do is you get yourself into a comfortable position as you usually do. You bring yourself so that your feet are nice and flat on the floor, so your hands are perhaps in contact with your thighs. So your back is off the back of the chair, so your feet are, comfortable, everything about you is comfortable. And again, you breathe in through your nose, and you really allow yourself to observe the breath coming into the boundaries of your body and really observe the breath exiting the boundaries of your body. And again, you close your eyes. And write this down. Don't do this yet, just write this down. So you're in this process where you kind of come to that position that you're starting to know quite well now. And then you take 4 breaths. 4 breaths. Now, write this down. Breath 1. Breath 1. Breath 1, like all the breaths, has 3 parts. You breathe in, and there's a moment where you kind of turn around, you almost stop breathing, and then you breathe out. So really get into that aspect of the whole entire breath. But breath 1, you're going to use to simply view your thoughts. Simply let your thoughts come. Let them come one by one, note what they are, and then let them go. Let them come one by one, note what they are, and then let them go. So that's breath 1, the thoughts. Breath 2 is where you focus all of your attention and all of your awareness on the breath. Simply observe the breath coming into the boundaries of your body and observe the breath coming out of the boundaries of your body. So breath number 2 is the breath, looking at the breath. Breath number 3 is the body, your whole entire mechanism. You take all of your awareness, all of your attention to your whole entire body. You feel every bit of it. You can even wiggle your toes if you like, perhaps wiggle your fingers. You just feel your mechanism. You feel your whole entire mechanism. And breath 4 is where you simply let go. You simply be. You simply exist, if you like. Open presence is what I sometimes call it. You get yourself into sort of open presence where you're simply existing. Okay? Now, I'm going to try and lead that pause meditation now. But as you'll see, because my breath is going to be different to your breath, it's almost impossible for me to lead it. But you can put your pads down because you know how to do it. And once I've led it, I'm going to say cheerio. But what I'd like to do is perhaps after this webinar is finished is if you could just try it. Just try it on your own with your own breaths. Remember, breath 1, the thoughts. Breath 2, the breath. Breath 3, the body. Breath 4, open presence. You're just being. Okay? So let's just try it. I'm going to get myself comfortable. Get my feet nice and flat on the floor. Get my hands on my thighs. Get those points of contact going so I'm coming to my physiology. Get my eyes closed down. Breathe in through my nose. And really start to listen to my breath. And really start to view my breath coming into the boundaries of my body. And exiting the boundaries of my body. And really allowing my breath to take over. Really allowing it to take control and to slow. And now I'm going to take my first breath, and then during my first breath I'm going to think of my thoughts. I'm going to allow my thoughts to come. Now I'm going to take my second breath, and I'm going to simply focus on my breath, on my breathing. Now I'm going to focus on my physiology and my body. And finally, I'm just going to be. I'm just going to exist. I'm just going to be in open presence. So now I'm going to do something. I'm going to time 60 seconds real quick. Just see if you can do that on your own in silence. Remember, breath 1 is the thoughts. Breath 2 is the breath. Breath 3 is the body. And breath 4 is open presence. So here you go. I'll just time 60 seconds and see if you can just do that on your own. Okay, so if you haven't already done so, you can allow yourself to come back to clock time. You can wiggle your fingers, you can wiggle your toes, you can come back quick, you can come back slow. There's no rush here. And that brings our 15 minutes to an end. It's actually a touch over there, or 16 minutes and a bit. So I'm going to rush off and let you guys go, and hopefully see you next week for session 3 in Introduction to Mindfulness, the 15-minute sessions. So thanks again for coming, and take care. Goodbye.